Good morning and welcome to this edition of YES101's Visual Radio. Bringing you the news, I'm Shalini Ratnavera. Let's start off with your local news for this morning. The second reading debate in the Samurdhi Reform Bill is scheduled to take place in Parliament today. The bill will be presented by the Minister of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment, Dr. Upali Pannilage. In addition, the Rubber Control Amendment Bill is also scheduled to be taken up for debate during today's parliamentary session. Meanwhile, several regulations under the Sports Act number 25 of 1973 are also expected to be approved in Parliament. In more local news, the postal workers' strike launched based on 19 demands continues for the third consecutive day today. The ongoing strike has severely impacted the public, causing significant disruptions in postal services across the country. The strike, which began at midnight on Sunday, was launched based on 19 key demands. These include the payment of overtime allowances and opposition to the use of biometric fingerprint systems for recording staff attendance and departure. The Postal and Telecommunication Officers Association, along with the Joint Front of Postal Trade Unions, withdrew from duties and began their trade union action on Sunday at 4 p.m. Following that, all postal offices across the island commenced to strike from midnight. Moving on to your weather update for this morning, a few showers may occur in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail over elsewhere of the island. Fairly strong winds of about 30 to 40 km per hour can be expected at times over western slopes of the central hills. Meanwhile, issuing a warm weather advisory, the Met Department says that the heat index, the temperature felt on human body, is likely to increase up to caution level at some places in eastern and north central provinces and Hambantota, Monragala, Vaunia, Mullaitivu and Kilinochchi districts.
International news.
In international news, the Kremlin has played down talk of an imminent summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky as Donald Trump renewed his call for the two leaders to meet to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The push for a bilateral meeting comes after the US president met Putin in Alaska last week and welcomed 7 European leaders and Zelensky to the White House on Monday. Trump admitted the conflict was a tough one to solve and considered it was possible. Rather, the Russian president was not interested in ending hostilities. The Russian president on Monday told Trump he was open to the idea of direct talks with Ukraine, but the next day Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov watered down that already vague commitment. Putin said any meeting would have to be prepared gradually, starting with the expert level and thereafter going through all the required steps, repeating a frequent Kremlin line.
Sports news.
And finally, in sports, Emma Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz might have lost in the revamped US Open mixed doubles, but they certainly won the hearts of the New York crowd. In a party-like atmosphere at Arthur Ashe Stadium, Britain's Raducanu and Spain's Alcaraz saw their chances of claiming a $1 million winning prize, ended by fellow Briton Jack Draper and Jessica Pegula, who have reached Wednesday's semi-finals. Despite the presence of home player Pegula, it was the losing pair who were heavily backed by a sizable crowd at Flushing Meadows. Well, that's a wrap of this edition of YES101's Visual Radio. Thank you for watching.